Hello everyone, this is V, and I'm back with some reporting on Hearthstone. I have not been playing much, but I picked up the game again roughly 2 weeks ago after I got bored of Diablo 3, and I've been playing Constructed almost exclusively with a druid from rank 20 or so on. I just made Druid. It's called Druid the Ramp, but it's actually evolved away from the ramp to a Watcher Druid deck. So we have Innervate, which is an accelerator that's, well, it's a dark ritual if you are used to the magic terms, and it's very powerful. Can lead to absurd openings, and even in the mid and late game this can really do a lot of work. It's usually worth the card. Sometimes it's a little dead, but that probably means you should have used it earlier. It's well worth including because it leads to absurd things very early in the game. Wrath, of course, removal, sometimes card draw, but mostly just removal. Then the Watchers. We have 4 ways of silencing them and 2 ways of making them taunt. That should be enough. They are part of what makes the deck work. Sun Fury Protector helps with these, but it also adds a lot of value to other things like Chillwind Yeti or the Ancients of Lore. It's also just an early creature, so when you are facing a shaman you might want to drop one early. It will draw either a removal spell or can be used to clear some totems, and against 2 decks you can play it early just to trade for something if that's what you need. Savage Roar, this is the main finisher together with Force of Nature, of course. I started with 1 of each, but I soon realized that 2 is the correct number. Not only are they great on their own, but the combination you will want as often as possible. It's 14 damage even on a clear board, and you don't really need a lot on the board to make it lethal no matter what the circumstances are. So having 2 creatures is usually enough to do 25 or more damage with this combo involved. A big game hunter just to clear Ragnaros and other big things. It's really great against handlock decks, but in general it's pretty good. They usually have something, a Baron-Geddon or whatever, and if not, you can just play it as a 4-2 for 3, which is, well, it's okay, not great, but when it's good, it's absolutely amazing and exactly what you need. Similarly, I also have a Stampeding Kodo, which is pretty good against Rush. Then we have Earthenring Farseers. These are just value cards. I usually use them to heal a creature that I have traded with something. And against some decks you can heal your life total as needed. Swipe, of course, great against all kinds of decks. Can be a finisher if you lack that damage, but it's a pretty good board wipe. The downside is we do not have Azure Drake. Some people play it in this deck, but I found them to be a little lackluster. Then Chillwind Yeti, always a solid creature. Keeper of the Grove, mainly for the Watchers, but they do a lot of other work, like doing 2 damage against zoo decks and finishing off other creatures that you just can't kill, as well as sometimes hitting the face. They're just really good. Spellbreaker, a little worse than Keeper of the Grove, most of the time, because the 3 health means they are rather easy to deal with. Druid of the Claw, mainstay of the Druid. It's either a haste creature or a taunt of some size. This one is almost mandatory in every Druid deck, I think. Force of Nature, really the best AoE you can want, I think. If you see it as an AoE, it can divide its damage, it can go to the face, it can get buffed, so those are all great things. If you see it as a finisher, then it's, well, just the same, really strong 14 damage in combination. Black Knight, clear taunts, very solid. It kind of depends. Well, if you face a lot of decks that don't require the Black Knight, you can switch this for Cairn quite easily, and then it just becomes a value creature. It's very good against decks like Control Warrior and things like that. But in general, sometimes you just want the Black Knight more. It depends a lot on the meta. So this one definitely interchangeable. Then the Ancients, these are mandatory in this deck. And most other Druid decks usually draw to occasionally restore 5. It's one of the best cards in the deck for sealing the deal. It's your needed card advantage, and it's a big body. And then we finish off with Scenarios. Usually you will summon 2 taunt creatures, occasionally will buff your other creatures, but that almost never happens. This one is great to populate a board with, and when you are both depleted of cards and you play Scenarios and then can follow it up with the Force of Nature Savage Roar combo, then you suddenly have 14 plus 10, that's 24, plus 5 is 29 damage on the board. So that rarely happens, but it's sometimes how the game ends. So that makes it a great addition. Now, missing from here is Claw. I tried it, but it was just a weak removal. It was sitting in my hand dead in a lot of the late game situations, and I much rather have Farseers, which would occupy that slot. And Azure Drake, they usually take the slot of 1 Force of Nature and maybe the Black Knight or a Big Game Hunter, but I found that those situational cards are just better in the situations that they are suited for. So, and this was the deck I used, a 2-hit legendary. I only just hit it, so yeah, you see the rank, it keeps dropping of course if you don't play. So in the last half an hour I lost 20 ranks by not playing apparently. Yeah, let's fire it up and see what happens. I'll play 1 or 2 games just to show you the deck, and I hope to win one. It took a lot of work to get to the legend rank because I started without knowing the meta at all, and I had to play dozens of matches, literally dozens of them, before I understood what was going on with the other decks. And this is a really awful opening. Can't get much worse than this, especially against a Paladin. There are 2 Paladin decks in the higher ranks. One is Rush, and the other is Control. As you can expect, this seems to be the Rush deck, so I will roll out. Yeah, let's just go for the Ancient Watcher. Might as well. And
the light protects me. The light protects me.
Yeah, this is a creepy opening, very painful, and that doesn't really help us a lot at the moment. It depends on what his play will be. No, that's kind of good for us, I think. So what do we do here? I think we just swipe and then clear that. So it's not ideal because of the divine shields, but yeah, it should be okay. Well, that's fine. And then I will summon a taunt. And I am aware that he will probably have some solution for that. They usually play the thing that reduces health to one all creatures. And he will want to play that in combination, so I'm not gonna roll out the Yeti yet. Even though that might be a mistake, I don't think it is. He will consecrate here. Avenging Wrath. That's fine as well. And here we have a few options. I could go for the Ancient, but I think I will just go for the two creatures. It's less vulnerable to single target removal. And I can do a lot more with it. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Actually, I'm just gonna hit his face, I think. Draw cards. And puts us into a pretty good position to get the combo next turn or do whatever it is we need to. But I think it should be enough. Yeah, this. Yeah. Well played. Now we go to 330 apparently. So that's more or less what happens usually. I'll play another one. Maybe we get some other kind of matchup. I have a win rate of about 55%, so it's not amazing, but we are talking about legend rank, so 55 is kind of okay. I think there are better players around and sometimes better decks, so I'm not saying this is the best deck. I wouldn't claim that at all. But it's definitely good if you like control. This actually plays a lot like Junt. If you are a Magic player, then you will surely know that. So it plays like a mid-range deck with a heavy aggression option, with a lot of value cards in it, and just like Junt, it has no real horrible matchups. But it also doesn't have any auto wins, so you always have to work, but you usually stand a chance unless in most extreme circumstances where the opponent has everything you could wish for. Yeah, drawing that out early might seem unpleasant, but it's actually not half as bad as it seems, because they are very powerful if he gets a board advantage, so having him use it defensively It's actually much stronger than having it in his hand. We only have to worry about one more Hex now. And Shaman is most notable for having 3 damage removal spells. So he has Lightning Bolt, he has Rock Biter weapon, and he will have the Lightning Storm, which does 2 or 3 and 3 or 4 with the totem. I am tempted to roll out a Spellbreaker here and then kill off the Defender. That deals with 2 things. It makes the Wrath of Earth Totem pretty useless unless he draws a Flame Tongue, or what's the name. So yeah, I'll just do that. Means he can't summon a new Wrath of Earth Totem until this one is dead. But our draws have not been good. I'm inclined to exchange the Rats for something. I will probably be doing that. Yeah. Here I will just do this and then kill that off. Okay. And this is just a value exchange, of course. No, that's fine. Alright. What shall we do here? There are many options. I kind of want to keep the swipe for the fire elemental. I could just drop this and kill one of the wolves. I think that's what I'm gonna do. It kinda loses a card, I guess, but well, I'm just hoping that he will survive. It probably will. And yeah, I hear a lot of people saying that Shaman is weak, but it really isn't. I have seen a lot of good Shamans. So yeah. Just doing this and then healing my bear. And the problem that this presented will now just stay the same. So he obviously didn't have another Hex, so unless he drew one, he will need to spend either 2 removal spells. Yeah, okay.
Of course.
And then the question is, do we play the Watcher Druid? I think at the moment the answer is no. I can always make it taunt instantly by playing both of these, and I don't want to expose it to a lightning storm. So yeah, it wastes 6 mana, but there is nothing I really want to do with that 6 mana at the moment, so it's not truly wasted. I've just not had the best of luck in this game with the cards I've been drawing. That's an obvious problem. Okay. That's a little annoying. So it could be really bad if he buffs that up. And then again. So be it. Stampeding Kodo, not the greatest at the moment. Yeah, but this could become at the worst 26 damage. So I have to keep that in mind. It's really powerful. Yeah, look at that. That's 10 damage immediately. And a pretty good trade there too. Yeah. And you can see how this could become a problem. Okay. That's interesting. So, what are our options? We could go for Stampeding Kodo. That's never bad. Maybe follow it up with a swipe. I don't think there is any other option that's really great. We might silence that if it doesn't get removed. Yeah. So in this case I think I will just silence it, as it's just too dangerous a card. And then he will probably just trade the Kodo away and well, it could definitely have gone better. Yeah. That might be Fire Elemental. Oh, that's not quite as bad as a Fire Elemental would have been. So that kind of makes the play obvious. Have to kill that. And well, then we have a choice. Either this or that. I think it just doesn't really matter all that much. So I will do that. And I'll make it taunt. Not just because I want that on the board, not because the taunt will be a relevant factor there. And I expect him to have a Fire Elemental soon, because he's only at 13 cards. Chances are that he will draw one this turn or the next. And that's pretty bad for us. Taking 5. Unless he skips out on that. Yeah. Could do that. It's not the worst, but he will just kill the two tokens, and maybe his second hex will be involved somewhere. No, no second hex. Oh, that's the weapon at least. That's a good thing. He has the lightning bolt. which means he's probably hitting the face. So now we do this and kill that. And we're getting rid of that totem. Ten cards, and we still haven't drawn any of the Rise of Nature, of what's the name again? And we have to really keep the totems down. Absolute minimum here. Yeah, I don't have the kill, dude. Sorry. But if he does, then we are pretty screwed.
I'm invincible.
I will silence that. He's already wasted most of his skill stuff. He can now Fire Elemental this, which is why I used this and not this. Because I can trade this for the Fire Elemental, but not this, so that kind of made sense. And I'm too afraid of a Bloodlust to ignore totems and just go for his face. That just doesn't seem like the best plan. These totems with the Bloodlust, and yeah, most Shaman decks don't play a Bloodlust, but some play one just as a finisher, and if they do, then you just die out of nowhere, and you really don't want to be punished for not clearing totems when there is no clear advantage to not doing so, because getting him closer to 14 is important, but well, I could just put him to 16, that does actually just nothing, so the security of beating down on the totems seems a lot better than not doing that. Yeah, for him being forced to use his spell on that is a good sign. And that should be game, I think. We have lethal, unless he does something. That's why I did it, of course. Yeah, he has the fire on. That makes things a little annoying. But we still have game. Look at that. Force of Nature. Savage War. Beat your face in. Wait, well played. And that was it. We won 2 out of 2. Risen to rank 278, which is great. I think I've never been legend rank, so I assume that it's good. Hope you liked the video, and see you next time.